everybody, April here with Beauty Boss Girl. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for stopping by again today. Today we're going to go over some Beauty Boss Girl pro tips, and our topic today is going to be about that perfect sales pitch, okay? So first thing I want to ask you is, do you have one? Do you have a sales pitch? What does it look like, right? I think that it is super important that every beauty pro in this industry have a professional sales pitch scripted so that you virtually are very consistent with what you're saying and trying to communicate with your bride, okay? I think having a sales pitch and actually writing something out is important because it allows you to really think about what you're wanting to communicate with that client in order to close the sale, okay? You're not just going off the fly every time that you talk to her, all right? Because that's not gonna work. I think that it's super important to have a sales pitch. So we're gonna chat a little bit about the sales pitch and my pro tips for what makes a perfect sales pitch, okay? So tip number one, I think that it's important when you are pitching to your client, when you're pitching to your bride, that you are speaking and asking questions about her and that your pitch is not geared towards yourself, right? So for example, I don't want to go out there and if I'm, on the phone with a bride consulting with her, I don't want to make like a million examples about what I'm doing and what I've accomplished and what I've achieved and all of that. It's like, yeah, these things are great to kind of go into later on, but during your initial sales pitch, what's important is that you're making the emphasis on the client, letting her know that you're interested in her life and what she has going on. You want to hear her story, you want to ask her questions about her engagement, details about the wedding, ask her about her fiance, that you're truly engaged and that you care. What is this doing? Well, it's creating rapport, okay? You're building trust with the client. If you keep this just self-focused on you, you lose the opportunity to really build that rapport that's needed to gain the trust from the client that is required in order to close your sale. So make sure that when you are talking and speaking with her, you're speaking with her about herself and not keeping the focus too much on yourself and what you're doing and what your achievements have been, okay? And then my next tip that I'd like to point out is similar to the first, okay? But it's more about business ended. So what I mean is, simply put, you wanna make sure that you're not just kind of boasting about how awesome your company is and all the things your company has done and how you've been featured in whatever and all of this stuff. You really want to make the center of what your business is about how you can serve your client. How can I serve you? Make it about the things that are going to be interesting to her when she's thinking about how you are going to be servicing them on her wedding day, right? So keep these things in mind. Try to take yourself out of the equation and make this about servicing the client and asking questions and speaking to her about your business in such a way to where you're showing that your main goal on her wedding day is to make sure that she is stress-free, everything runs super smooth, and that you execute the ultimate look that she feels like the most beautiful version of herself as a bride, right? And you make it about how you can service them and the things that you're going to be doing and offering and how you're going to man the room on the wedding day and command control so that everything runs smooth. There's always going to be a warm body in your chair, and that you're going to make sure everybody runs on time, and that people aren't scattered all over the place, right? So you want to offer up information in regards to your business about what you're doing and how your company is molded to service the client. I hope that makes sense. And then the final pro tip that I want to offer is to offer education to the clients. Be a teacher to them. Most of our brides are brides for the first time. Even if they're having a second or third marriage, they're still your first time bride. It's still been a long time since they've, kind of walked upon this wedding process. So the industry has changed, So I find that, I'm most successful when I take, a teacher or coach approach and I help educate my clients and give them information. Information is key. And I find that most brides don't have any clue about what's involved in this process and what to expect from you and why you do things a certain way. So I find like it's super helpful to just always educate them. An example, I'll try to give you an example here in what I mean. For example, when, I do my trials and I'm talking about, I use my ring light, right? So a good example of educating my clients is rather than just turning my ring light on and starting to work, I like to kind of set them up for success and really understanding the reasoning behind and the purpose behind the purposes the ring light serves, and I'll go into talking to them a little bit and let them know like, hey, listen, this light is amazing. This light is, I don't leave home without this light. This light allows me to see everything on your face before I start working on you. And from an artist standpoint, you want me to see everything on your face. It's also going to allow you as my client to see the true colors and pigmentation that I'm using so that when we take our photos at the end of our trial and you look back on this, you're going to see the end result. There's not going to be any question on your part. Hey, did she use, a rose on me? Did she use a plum on my lips? Like, you're going to know exactly what colors we used, and that finally, I also let them know that on their wedding day, excuse me, they can expect their photographers to shoot through very similar lighting. So how awesome is it that I can offer to them and educate them a little bit in saying that just through our normal, iPhones and our camera lenses on our iPhones, you're gonna have a 90% chance of pretty much understanding and knowing how you're gonna photograph as a bride on your wedding day. So these are kind of little things that I sort of, include education-wise that I like to walk through my client with, I like to really prepare them, set them up for success from A to Z. So these are some of my pro tips just on how your sales pitch should look and what you should be doing to kind of, script out that perfect sales script, okay? And again, these pro tips for this this video is just focusing on the client and not yourself, making sure that when you're talking about your business and your company, that it's geared towards serving the client and not just boasting about all the great things that you've achieved, okay? And then finally, bringing it back around to where you're educating the client. You're giving her some useful information, key points that she's probably never thought of, and you're walking her through this process, educating her along the way so that you've answered all her questions, you've put out any fires before they've started, and this just promotes a much smoother closing, okay? And this will allow you to build that trust and rapport needed in order to properly close your bride. I hope that this helped. I hope you enjoyed the tips, okay? Please, if you have any questions, any thoughts on anything I'm talking about, if you'd like me to delve further in, drop a couple comments. I love answering all of your questions. If there's anything you want me to touch on and do a video on, drop that comment below too. I will custom make a video just for you. Finally, just continue to, follow me, like my page, subscribe to my page, show me some love. I appreciate you guys just coming along this journey with me. So Beauty Boss Girl, dream it, believe it, achieve it. Let's do this thing together, guys. Have a great day.